Dr. Paul,
progress.
going back to Delhi, you say the way the chief minister responded
Correct.
to your
Right.
PSC's
Right,
report
right.
was tremendous. You mean to say that you didn't get that much response from the Karnataka government?
Yeah, I would say in comparative terms, Karnataka government, of course, is very large. This city is only one part of it. They are concerned about rural and all that. Whereas in Delhi, the focus, it's a city-state. So there the chief minister lives or dies by what happens in that city. That's the population. And it's a more sophisticated. People are also, education level, etc. may be high. So she saw the value. She went public with the results. And I told her, warned her at the beginning, look, some of the findings may be negative. Do you understand this? But we generally want this to be transparent. We don't produce a report for government.
Karnataka gave you really good response.
Because of the BATF, I would say, Krishna. I feel he could have done more, but at least he set up that body, took some interest.
What are the other chief ministers who came up?
No, I did not. I mean, we had once a meeting with Dharam Singh on the road issues, etc. But I didn't see sustained interest because they are distracted by so many other problems. So I cannot give you more examples. But I know that in the Yediyurappa case, when he was still in power, the Chief Secretary, Ranganath and others had presented to him the findings of the latest report card on the state services we had done. Okay. So a much bigger thing. And apparently he listened to and he said, yes, action should be taken. But with all the distractions here, I don't think anything actually happened. So it can be a tool for action. That is very well proven. Only last week a team came back from Tanzania in Africa. Our team from the foundation had gone there, done similar thing on their rural health and education and similar services, and the government there is willing to act on it. Government people have been involved. Same thing has happened in Kenya. And you will be surprised to know after the first Bangalore report card, where the request for me came from, former Soviet Union. I went to Ukraine, in Kiev. 3 cities in Ukraine, after the fall of the Soviet Union, decided they will do this. And before anything happened in Bangalore, in terms of response, those mayors had already taken action. I was present at their meetings. I didn't follow the
action taken report.
I mean, you can see, therefore, if political leaders or elected people really want to bring about change and want to use information from the public, they can do it, and they see it as a valuable aid. It's an aid to public action, as I said.
That's great. That's great. Dr. Paul, in the past, Bangalore pioneered forums for citizen participation.
Right.
But sustaining them hasn't been easy. How have you managed to keep the PSC going strong?
Well, PSC, remember now, is more than 16 years old. It has been set up as a body non-profit registered. It is not dependent purely on voluntary work. We have worked with voluntary groups. Many groups in Bangalore have come up as a result of our work. For example, after report cards, we'll bring in people. Then remember, we did that work with elections. I think you were the editor, were you not? When we had that first information campaign on candidates.
Candidates, yes.
Which Times of India then published the results, one paragraph on each candidate. But the work was done with citizen groups. PSC doesn't have the staff to go around the city and collect from all candidates. So we have worked in partnership with various groups. But such groups which come on a voluntary basis have this problem of sustainability. They will come up and work for some time, then suddenly you will not hear about it. Then they will come up, somebody new will come.
What do you do then?
Then sustaining them is a real problem. We have tried various ways of doing it, but we feel that it's a problem with our people. How can anyone force them to do? They have to raise the resources. For example, now we have a thing called Coalition Against Corruption, which will take up corruption problems faced by people. If you go with a problem, they are willing to take it up. Or you have a problem with RTI, they will take it up. But I would have wanted them to expand much more than they have done. But they have not been able to do it. I don't fault them. It's a voluntary effort of several people who are giving their time. So there is that limitation. But PSC was not set up like that. See, last year PSC won a 4 million grant from IDRC, the Canadian Development Agency, who had a global competition. And we were picked up among many institutions to receive this. That is possible because there are full-time people with qualifications, with research and other abilities, who could prepare the kind of proposal which could stand the scrutiny of an international panel from around the world, from South Asian countries, etc. So that is the way PSC functions. So PSC can also have ups and downs.
But do you get funds from international agencies? One question everybody asks whenever somebody like PSC starts working.
Now
where do you get the funds?
Correct, right. I started, the first report card was started from my home, which is only within walking distance from here, from my dining table. SBI Colony is next to you here, just behind your building. And I had no money, and I simply asked some friends for, we'll raise some money, just to show that it's a voluntary effort. When this example was sort of disseminated, came in the media or newspapers, many others were interested and said, you have done it as a hobby, because you are not looking for a job, all that is true. But can we create an institution to continue this kind of work? I had to say, look, I had to think seriously, because I didn't think of starting another organization at this stage. But because of their interest, I did, and I was then able to raise some money, for example, a corpus fund where ICICI, at that time, K.V. Kamath was the chairman, agreed to put some money into it, Deepak Parekh, but not many other industries. I couldn't, for example, raise any funds from Bangalore industries. They didn't really respond. But at that time, C. Subramaniam was setting up a new foundation in Delhi. They decided they want this to be their first project. So without even presenting a big proposal to them, they gave a grant. That's how we started. And I was not sure, okay.
Now you get lots of funds from various...
Not lots, but we are comfortable.
But you can run the show, at least.
Run the show, but Ford Foundation gave a grant subsequently. Now this IDRC one has come. Then what I did was to create this Public Affairs Foundation, which began to provide services within the country and internationally. And we said we can raise some funds that way. We don't have to beg or go and ask for grants. Out of our own work, spreading our message. In the process, we charge fees. Non-profit, it's a non-profit company. That earns money, and we have built a new campus now. Half of the funds required for that campus, the building, was provided by the earnings of this foundation. So I feel happy and proud. Out of our own work, we have generated the resources to create a campus. So by and large, we have tried to be self-reliant, not too dependent on others, and certainly no grant from governments.
Let's take a small break here, Dr. Paul.